Welcome to the InsidePP statistic lesson. This is part of our Statistics for Trading course, where we help you to use statistics to enhance your trading. Our goal is to enable you to think in probabilities, and statistics are the basis of such thought. In this lesson, we will explain the InsidePP statistic that is found on our 30-minute statistics reports. Let's get started. How is it that we use the InsidePP statistic? First off, you should have a 30-minute bar chart on your screen. Even if you're using a faster time frame, such as a Renko or a range chart or a 1 minute or a 5 minute or some sort of a tick chart, you should still have a 30-minute chart on your screen. These stats, especially the InsidePP stat, is designed for short-term traders. If you're a trader who is a longer-term trader, even if you're an intraday trader, but your trades are lasting more than a half an hour, or they're lasting some hours, or even some days, then this stat is not going to do much for you. If you're a very short-term trader, then yes, the InsidePP stat can be valuable. First, it can provide you with a destination to trade to. That's always helpful when trading. So we get a statistical number of how often a bar will hit the top or the bottom or the edge of the previous bar, and that can become a destination. But when you combine it with other stats, it becomes even more useful. It can help you to determine potentially what are good times of the day to trade, especially when you combine it with the 30-minute range stat. It can also potentially keep you out of bad trades. Knowing when not to trade is just as important, in my opinion, as knowing when to trade, maybe even more important, because when do we lose money? We lose money when we're taking trades that we shouldn't, obviously, but oftentimes that could be trading during times of the day that we shouldn't be trading. Now, the InsidePP stat provides you with the data that enables you to think in probabilities. And when you think in probabilities, you can improve your edge on individual trades. Exactly what is the InsidePP stat? Well, it stands for inside previous period. It identifies statistically how often a given 30-minute period was an inside bar. What is an inside bar? Well, here is an example of one on the screen. If you look at the green bar with the arrow below it, that indicates an inside bar. Here I've drawn lines at the high and the low of the previous red bar candle. As you can see, the green candle has not touched or passed through either the high or the low of the previous red candle. This makes it an inside bar. Our InsidePP stat identifies how often this happens in every 30-minute period. And when you're trading, you're always looking at what would be the current bar. So you're looking for the probabilities while you're trading of whether the current bar will be an inside bar or not. Or when you're looking at our reports, you can look at them to determine when good times to trade will be and perhaps when good times to stay out of the market will be. Here we see an example of one of our 30 minutes range reports. This happens to be a snapshot of part of the crude oil report. If you look at the second column, that's the period ending column. So it says 9:30. Well, that happens to be the open of the crude oil regular trading hour session, at least in the Eastern Standard Time. So the period ending 9:30 is actually the period starting at 9 and ending 9:30. It's that 30-minute bar. Now, if you look at the indicated column, it's the InsidePP column, which represents the percentage of time the period ending column was an inside bar. Here we see the period ending 9:30 has been an inside bar 5% of the time over the last 30 days. 3.17% of the time over the past 90 days, and 3.13% of the time over the past 180 days, and 6.2% of the time over the past 365 days. Now, we should note that these are calendar days and not trading days. And when you have the full report in the header, we also have an as of date in the header. That's normally the previous Friday. So these stats would be as of the previous Friday's close of whatever the date is on the top of the report. Now, when you combine this stat with the median range stat, or even the average stat, you find time periods that potentially are a good time to trade. So if we look at the open there, we see that it's rarely, so if you invert the stat, a 5% chance of being an inside bar would be a 95% chance that it's going to tag or pass through the high or the low of the previous bar. And with a median range of 34, that's a pretty good amount of movement. This identifies the open as a potentially viable time to trade where you'll get some movement and you'll have some indication of a target to trade to, which in this case would be the top or the bottom of the previous bar. Here is another example. We see the period ending 11 o'clock, which is the 10:30 to 11 period. We see a low inside PP statistic. In fact, in the last 30 days, it's never been an inside bar. And if you look at the median range, it's been 29 cents, or in crude oil's case, that's 29 ticks. Again, this is a time that you might consider viable for trading. Let's look at this time here. This is the period ending 7 p.m. Here we see the inside PP and the low range indicating that this period of the market usually doesn't move very much. So the median range in the last 30 days was only 10 cents or 10 ticks. But look at the inside PP statistics. Over a third of the time, it's an inside bar. Now that tells us that there's not a lot of movement typically that happens during this period. So you might decide, well, this is not a great time to trade crude oil. But even if you decide to trade during this time, at least you have the knowledge of what to expect, and you can make decisions accordingly. We don't recommend any time period to trade or any kind of trade. We leave that up to the trader. Each trader has his own style, and some may trade for large swings and others may simply scalp a few ticks here and there. It's up to you. But this information at least enables you to know what to expect. So this concludes the Inside PP stat lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. When you think in probabilities, it can help you be a better trader, and statistics provide the basis for this kind of thinking. Here at statsfortrading.com, we believe that knowledge is power and that you should never take the trader out of the trade. If you found this video to be helpful, please like it and subscribe to our channel, and considering subscribing to our weekly statistics. Thank you for watching.